Gardening is your passion, digging in the soil is your pleasure, and growing your own food is your mission. We've got a lot in common. Get access to the greatest gardening minds, including yours truly, with The Gardener magazine, filled with the latest gardening trends, inspirational ideas and tips. Available from leading retailers or online at thegardener.co.za. From cover to cover, it's gardening at its best.
The Gardener Masterclass is proudly brought to you by Stark Airs, the foremost African commercial and home gardening specialists of globally sold premium seed and innovative gardening solutions, growing together for a sustainable future. And the Gardener and Detainee magazines. Get access to the greatest gardening minds, latest gardening trends, inspirational ideas and tips.
Well, good morning, everybody. It's a warm, humid, more humid. Do you get that word? Exceptionally humid. Help me with some adjectives. I've got others, but I'm not allowed to repeat them on this show. It's very hot. It's humid, guys. This weather has been like on its head, kind of rocker. Completely bizarre. We're in for an exceptionally hot day today around the rest of the country as well. I know the Western Cape has been having really hot days. Lots of rain, lots of flooding, and here where we are, KZN, we're expecting 100 mils between midnight tonight and tomorrow. Ha ha! So, you know what's on my list, and it should be on your list as well. Make sure the gutters are clean, guys. And that doesn't mean you walk around with a coffee cup and you're like, yeah, it looks clean, hey? What do you say, darling? Does it look clean? Yeah. No, you got to get step ladder. You got to get up there. Or you need one of those blower things, okay? Get them clean. Make sure your drains are clean and they're not being clogged up. Make sure your water tanks are there, that everything is ready to catch that water. Because in a few months' time, we're all going to be crying that there's not enough rain. That's the way it goes. So please, guys, big warning for you out there. So what is gardeners? And I've been thinking about this. I was in Joburg yesterday, and also like rain and then sun out, and chatting to a lot of the growers. We were at a trade day, and then like the plants are so confused. And I get it, the plants are confused. They might need medication soon, like us. But they are, because we have these misty days, and then the sun comes out, and they really are battling. And if your garden is looking a bit scraggly, you know, because we've had incessant humidity, changes of temperature, we've had rain, sun, we really have had it all. I mean, the temperature dropped yesterday or the day before in Joburg to like down to 12 within a matter of hours. So yeah, it's pretty weird out there, and you can know that the plants are also battling. So how do we cope with this? How do we make it easier for our gardens? Well, those are some of the things I'm going to touch on as well today, but more importantly, we're in autumn. We're in the beginning of autumn, and those of you that get up early in the morning and that know and that watch the sunrise, you know it's changing, guys. You know, I've seen it in the last 2 weeks. The sun is up later. The sun has moved. There's a lot of dew on the lawn every single morning. The evenings, there's that little like a tingle. There's some kind of tingle in the air. So autumn is here, and for me, autumn is an insane gardening time. In fact, it's kind of like when, I'm the busiest. I will say that without a shadow of a doubt. I'm the busiest in autumn. Because if I do the work now, and if I get the plants in, and if I get my planning right, and I'm not saying you need to be like Excel spreadsheet planning, I'm just saying, you just got to tick certain boxes. If you get that right, guys, when spring arrives, you harvest the bounty and you get to enjoy the beauty. And that's really what I look forward to so much. And the planning is on full swing. The compost heaps are full. They're waiting. The leaf mold is ready. The mulch is there. And we're ready for this planting time. And I hope by the end of this morning's live that you are going to be ready as well. Now, for the rain and this torrential flooding that's expected, what can we do? What can we do as gardeners? What can we do as gardeners to kind of protect our soil? Make sure that it's going to be okay, besides the things like the gutters and that. Well, guys, it's called mulch. It's called mulch, and I'll go over and on about it. But when you have mulch on your soil, whether it be leaves or it be in the composted form, so you are going to so protect your soil. It's a given, guys. It's a given. Because imagine it. You've seen those Nat Geo Wild movies, you know. The sun in Serengeti is hitting 48 degrees. We're on week 4, and the elephants are smelling the rain. That's my impersonation of David Attenborough. Not very good. And then they close up on this red dust, and there falls that drop. And what do you see happening? You actually see the soil, you see it moving. You see it being displaced. Right, okay. Fast forward, bring yourself into your own garden. If those big drops fall on naked soil, what's going to happen? Well, the same thing. Yeah, you know, like hello. Same thing's going to happen. But imagine if we had a beautiful layer of our own homemade compost. Imagine if we had that. And on top of that, we had amazing leaves that are starting to compost, which is our mulch. And then you get some. And the rain arrived. Well, your soil's not going to go down to your neighbor. I do know that. Soil's not going to go to the neighbor. And it's not going to end up in the Atlantic or in the Indian Ocean. So it's mulch, guys. It's so simple. And 99.9% of the time, if you have compost, or you've been making a bit of leaf mold, or you've just got a pile in the end of the garden, like, don't even overcomplicate it. You don't need like structures and things. You can just have a pile in the bottom of the garden, and you go and scratch around there and ferret around there, and you are going to pull out the most beautiful leaf mold and breaking down organic matter. That is going to save your soil. If we save the soil, yeah, we save the plants. They don't go through so much stress. Okay, so that's key for me for, in fact, any time of gardening. But guys, if you've got some naked soil around, that's what you got to do. Okay, very important. Okay, let's see who's here and who's joining us. Tammy, good morning from the West Coast. Oh, ek verlang na die Weskus. Actually heard a song about that the other day. Alicia, good morning from a cloudy Pretoria East. Linda, good morning. To Tanya and team. Ruth, and a dry Cape Town, but so happy that you're back. I'm also delighted to be back. Thank you. Renata, goeiemorgen from the Windy City in Port Elizabeth. I battle with that. Just send me some voice notes, please. Abeja, that's it. Jenny, good morning. Nice to see you too. Lana Nell, good morning. Terry Lee, good morning to the team. And the new Baba that's on the way. Yeah. Not from Terry Lee. Her colleague is having a Baba. We're very excited. Very excited. Gender reveal hasn't happened yet. That's a whole big thing now, hey? You gotta let off balloons and like these, what are those things called? Rockets, colored rockets. It's a whole thing. Or wear different colored clothes, and it's crazy. And the child hasn't even been born yet. Anyway, let me not get distracted. And Namondo, good morning. Renata, good morning. Yeah, I've said good morning. Steph Green. Morning, sunshine. BG, good morning from Gauteng. Jason, good morning from Phoenix, Arizona. Jason, what's happening on your end of the world? We're not going to talk about your leader, but sorry, I had to do that. I'm getting devil looks and like, what do you call it? I call it the stokoog daggers from my producer stroke controller of all things behind the camera there. So I'm not even making eye contact. I'm going to be like a naughty child, and I'm only going to look at you because I know I shouldn't be mentioning world leaders at this point in time. Thank goodness they don't influence gardening. Aren't we lucky? Right, Diane, good morning. Raining here at the tip of Africa. Oh man, guys, it's good to see you. Jason from a snowy Umhlanga. Dude, you okay there? You know, do you need to tell me something? Okay, maybe I think it meant to be sunny. Okay, Jason, just confirm that for me. I was going to send out the fun police to come check on you. Ruth, yeah, dry Cape Town, dry. Okay, guys, you're all over the country. Let's get going, because whether you're at the tip of Africa, whether you are in Cape Town, whether you're in KwaZulu-Natal, Mpumalanga, Pretoria, autumn is here. Arizona, flip it. Okay, right, guys. So where do we start? Let's talk about what is in flower now. Because autumn, also in the gardening world, we call it our second spring. It's our second spring because a lot of plants peak at this time. They give us this little flurry, they look amazing, and then after the flurry, they then start waning off and then going to sleep for the winter. But this is out the garden this morning, and let's just take a look. I mean, roses, guys, roses. It's a big time for them. And for those of you that have got even one little potted rose that you managed to keep alive, oh my gosh, something's just hit me. Oh, it's this. Gee, waka. I think this is Violet. Look, I'm not very good on my rose names, so maybe one of you can help me out here. Violet Beauty, maybe. I don't know. I grow them because they're pretty. I know this is my granny. And I know that's South Africa, but no, not very good at that. But sure, that was like when, this is a pleasant fragrance, by the way, but you know when you're sitting on the aeroplane and someone comes and sits next to you and they've just emptied their whole bottle of deodorant on them, it hit me like that. Okay, that is amazing. Okay, so roses now in autumn, they give you a really good show. They really do show off, and if you've been feeding them and keeping them healthy, then you should really be rewarded with this. Remember, roses, to produce gorgeous flowers, need the engine room. What's the engine room of a rose? The leaves. They need good leaves. Good leaves trap the light. That light, through photosynthesis, gets turned into all those energies that the plant needs. Plus they need food from the roots. So roses, food, water, and we're going to touch on that just now, because the South African Rosarium shared a secret with us, which we're going to tell you a little bit about later. But and the ladies from the Midlands Rose Society, listen, I'm scared of them, hey? They know their stuff. You know what I'm talking about. They are seriously, they are gurus, and they know their thing, and I learn from them all the time. Right, dahlias, the dahlias, aren't they gorgeous? They're looking fantastic, and they'll go right through until the end of the May. The little crocosmias, the falling stars, are looking wonderful. These over here, salvias. And listen, the salvias, if your salvias are looking a bit scraggly, guys, we touched on this, I think, last month. If your salvias are looking scraggly by the end of autumn or kind of by end of March, I want you, and even now, if they're looking scraggly and like the ends need work, you know, split ends, you need to give them a severe haircut and really give them a good haircut, because they will recover. And the little button, look at that. Look at the little zinnia. Oh, mama, aren't they lovely? Okay, so the garden is bountiful. The garden is bountiful, but now we're thinking ahead. We're thinking to what is out there? What can we plant now? What is looking amazing? Because guys, that is going to determine what our spring garden is going to look like. And some of the things I'm not going to touch on today because I will touch on those a little bit later, but I'm going to mention them as to what we should be looking out for at our local garden center. Okay, so how do we lengthen and get the most out of this autumn? How do we do that, especially with all of those flowers? Look at that are looking amazing. So I'm going to just bring this across to you here, and I'm going to use this as an example for salvias. Now, this is a salmia. It's still a salvia, so still part of the salvia, and you can tell by the shape of the flowers, and they've all got square stems. But some of these now in the garden are really looking quite dreadful. They've got long and tall, they've got naked stems, and just don't be shy. Don't be shy to give them a good haircut. And really, when I say a good haircut, I'm seriously meaning you're gonna take away 2/3. Do you see that? 2/3 of the plant. And look where I'm pruning, guys. Just get in here. Mace, get right in here. The plant is actually telling me I'm about to do something. Guys, like finish flowering here because you're nearly at the end. Remember, those are the flowers. Those are the bracts. The bracts remain there for months and months, but no more flowers will come from these. Those are the bracts. That is basically a bract is a modified leaf. It gets complicated, but let's just worry about flower. There, flower. So it's already telling us, look, it's already pushing the new foliage, so you're not going to kill it. No ways. All we're going to do is we're going to prune it. And when we prune it, we're just going to encourage new growth. So prune away dead head, guys, those plants that are in flower. As soon as their flowers go over, please do remove those flowers. So let's go back to this over here. Remember with your roses, as soon as they start going over, 1, 2, third set of leaves, third or the first set of healthy leaves that you find, which is 5 or 6 leaves. 5 or 6 leaves. Prune. Okay, the more you do that, the more it's going to flower. Dahlias, anything that is flowering, soon as it's gone over, all the way down to a new shoot, prune it. Don't be scared. Don't be scared. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, so give everything a prune. And you know what? Salvias are so incredibly forgiving that you literally, because they're quite brittle, you can just literally prune them like that. So, yeah, please, guys, remember, get out there, prune, deadhead, and all importantly, when you do that, all of a sudden, you're going to get that next flush, which we know is called our second spring. It's called our second spring. Okay, so let's have a look at what is looking amazing and gorgeous at the moment. So I'm going to bring you across here because, guys, don't forget that going right now into autumn, if you don't have any grasses in your garden, please, and I'm talking ornamental grasses, and when we talk ornamental grasses, what does that mean? It basically just means it's a grass that's been slightly tamed, okay, by a bit of hybridizing. That's not genetic manipulation, by a bit of hybridizing, and it is now considered a good garden plant. Okay, and I've got several here, and just outside the studio here, we've got the entire grass garden, which is just amazing. And as we start going into these cooler months, the grasses start changing color. They start reacting to the cold, and some of their stems become deep, deep red. They start pushing flowers like this miscanthus. Okay, this is called morning light, this miscanthus. Beautiful, fine, gentle foliage, very, very narrow, and a great garden plant. And of course, when they all start sending out their plumes, as they're called, which are their flowers, who are we going to be looking after? The birds. Okay, and like, there's nature at its best, because when seeds and food sources become more scarce, well, the grass is in flower, and that provides the food source for the birds during the winter months. So yeah, guys, there honestly is a beautiful array. This is the miscanthus. This is the carex commons bronze, which is absolutely spectacular. We've got a beautiful Carex Everillo. I mean, I love her. She's in the sun, she's in shade, under trees, and just is spectacular. This combined with some other glossy foliage is fantastic. And then this little Encore, I think it is. Oh, it's also Carex, that I came across at my local garden centre, is called Vanilla Ice. Remember that song? Ice, Ice, Baby. Yeah, you'll never forget the name. Carex Vanilla Ice. And I've used this in the front of some garden beds. And I want to show you what I used it with. So I've got my beautiful Coprosma. Okay, Coprosma. You get two different varieties. Actually, there are quite a few. So this one is Sunrise. Okay, so you get Sunrise, which is the pinks. And then you get Sunset, which is the reds. Can you see the reds? Now, this is a great shrub all year round in the garden. Looks fantastic. Don't overwater it. It likes to stay on the dry side. But it's got this fleshy foliage, which means it's really tough and incredibly water-wise. So this Coprosma only gets to about 1 meter, lovely and wide. But look, if I had this in my garden bed, kind of halfway through, and I edged it with some beautiful Everillo. Oh, isn't that lovely? And then we want to just really take it one up. So we had the little Everillo there, and let's possibly say I wanted something in between, because remember, this is slightly slower growing because it's a shrub. It's going to get to 1 meter eventually. But what if we wanted, because we always have to have, the thriller, the filler, and the spiller. So what's my filler, Tanya? Well, here's a great option. As a filler, I would most certainly go with this beauty here, which is Plectranthus, Mona Lavender, and guys, indigenous. There's also Mona Pink, which is spectacular, darker foliage. And folks, your Plectranthus are really coming into their own at the moment. Autumn is their blooming time. That's when they really show off. But Mona Lavender flowers on and off throughout the year. So there we've got an amazing combination. Semi-shade, full sun. Look at that. I love that. I really do like that. So we could always kind of pimp it out. We could pimp it out. And for that, I'm actually going to take you across, Mason. Let's go to the table here. So I can show you, because a plant that has all of a sudden, it's so weird. Plants just all of a sudden, you walk around and you see there are lots of a certain variety. And I'm like, oh, I haven't seen you forever. But I believe we've got a question here. So how on earth do I go to, oh, there it is, view the queue. Sonia, what about Dianthus? How much do you take off? Good question. Wait. Stay on the line, caller. Okay, I've got a little Dianthus here, and your Dianthus is probably looking a whole lot taller. So Sonia, when your Dianthus, you can see here, because they flower terminally first, mean topmost. So those are all still coming, okay? So you see you've still got lots still coming there. All you're going to do with your Dianthus, because let this finish flowering, because after here you're going to have those. You're just going to go down. Now look in carefully here. You're going to go down. There's a leaf. Okay, there's your leaf. There's your stem. Okay, you're going to go down and you're just going to nip that off. Okay, let me show you again. Pretend that this is finished flowering. You're going to follow that stalk down to the next leaf and just nip it off. That's it. There we go. If your Dianthus are looking really scraggly, okay, Sonia, if they are you've got the taller varieties and they're looking really scraggly and they finished flowering, I would then prune them back and I would remove 2/3 of the foliage, but make sure that you still prune them back to where there is some foliage. You can't prune down to naked stems with the Dianthus because it's a perennial. It really is quite a soft perennial. So if you prune it down to naked stems, guys, she may not come back to visit you again. So just, I rather, in fact, sometimes I only prune half of the actual plant, which does also work. Just to demonstrate that, and you might want to do this with your Dianthus. And we can talk about pruning here as well. Your Gaura, it's changed its name now. What is it now called? Onothera. I mean, why they do that, I don't know, just to confuse us, keep us on our toes. Your Gauras are looking amazing. The butterfly plant, when they start going over, look, getting a bit scraggly, what you've got to do is give them a good haircut. And these I am brutal on. I'm absolutely brutal. I literally grab it and I do that. Grab it and I do that, because guys, these plants are so tough, you really don't need to mollycoddle them. But what I've done here is I've only pruned half of this plant. I'm allowing this. Do this with your Dianthus, Sonia. Okay, prune it, keep this here. When this starts shooting, then you prune the rest of it. Okay, do this also with lavenders. Really good tip to keep them alive. Okay, let's look at some other options. Now, these. Oh, come on. Oh, caramba. I mean, when I see this dark, I just like, I start like frothing at the mouth. Literally, and I'm going to tell you why. Now this, come on, you recognize these, don't you? Come on, you recognize them. These are, yeah, you got it. This is a sweet potato. No, Tanya, no, true story, batatas. Sweet potato, this is what it's called. Its botanical name is Ipomea. Now, interestingly enough, that this was derived from the sweet potato, except these all of a sudden started having, natural selection. One sweet potato had a different color flower, a different color leaf. So they then took that tuber, harvested, bred, made more, and ended up with these amazing colors. Absolutely insane, guys. They do not produce the tubers. Their energy is put into the foliage. So don't go digging these up and go looking for tubers. They do have some. They do have tubers. They're much smaller. But I am told from a very, very good source that they are unpalatable. So maybe feed them to someone special that's coming to dinner. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Anyway, these are Ipomea batatas. I think they are absolutely wicked. I use them in pots. I've got some in the front garden. And yes, they grow like a sweet potato. It's a vine. Look, there it goes. There it is. Just cruising along. So if you want to keep it controlled, you just cut it back, okay? If you want to let it do its thing, you just let it do its thing. But let's look at how we can combine it. Man, and this is where I start blowing my lid, okay? Because I've got this beautiful white begonia. Begonia green leaf white. Look at that over there. And then next to it, I can possibly put a little scaviola. Great little plant, cascading as well. We can really rev it up 1 or 2 notches, and I could possibly even go a bit wilder. I mean, look at that foliage. There's autumn in a jar. That is really spectacular. If we wanted to break it up slightly, I'm going to throw in something completely different. So this we would call our thriller. That would be our spiller, okay? And then we could use that as our filler, okay? Oh, isn't that lovely? That's a nice combo. Okay, but we could kind of pimp it a bit more. I could put that there, and then I could add in one of these beautiful cordyline. Now, okay, this cordyline, guys, it doesn't look like much now. But this is one of the new cordyline, and I spotted it at my local garden center. I was actually running around with Keith Kirsten at the time. He wanted to buy them for me because they're actually his plants that he brings in. Anyway, we were on our way to the airport, and I'm like, we can't do this right now. No. So I've gone back and I've bought them, and here it is. This is called Electric Flash. It's a smaller, more compact cordyline. You know, we don't want the cordyline to go wild in our garden, like grow 10 meters high. This one, more compact, beautiful. Look at it. And look how it picks up in that yellow. Isn't that stunning? Gosh, this is going in a pot, actually. Yeah, okay, sorry, this live is done. I'm going to go and do some potting. No, just kidding. So, guys, there really is so much right now, but I really want to... These batatas are completely amazing. They are frost sensitive, so do put them in a spot where they are going to be a bit protected. And you know, the thing is that if they're mature enough, they will die back down. You can put a lovely layer of mulch on them because remember, they've got the storage organ. Yes, what is that? That's the sweet potato. Well, in this case, the bitter potato that's underground. That will stay there and look after them like a bulb. It is a bulb over the winter season. And then a tuber. That's it. It's a tuber. And then in the spring, it wakes up again and away it goes. Now, another plant that I want to just very quickly talk about for autumn, which is quite amazing. I mean, this azalea, guys, we've got these in pots, and the pot is really big, so I couldn't bring it along here. These are called the Encore azaleas, and they have been incredible. They flowered throughout the summer. My Encore azaleas have flowered throughout the summer. Now, don't azaleas only flower in the spring? These compact, highly prolific flowering plants are just incredible. Great for pots, small gardens, because they don't get so big. This is autumn lily, and you can see in autumn now, full of flowers. And the ones in the pots that we've got in the front garden are looking spectacular. So, yeah, there's another toughie. But autumn really brings along with it some absolute beauties. So do make sure that when you're walking around your local garden centre, you get to see them. See what they are, the grasses, the salvias, the coprosmas. Look for that sweet potato on steroids. And just have some fun, man. Have some fun. Along with all of this, heat, humidity, rain, deluge. I don't know about you, but the hojos are also out there. I was telling someone my cleomes, which were looking spectacular. I can't even bring you a cleome at the moment to show because they sticks. They are literally like those Vodacom towers that all the leaves have fallen off. They sticks. And caterpillars have annihilated them. So there's a lot of hojos out at the moment, guys. And I'm always asked, Tanya, what can I spray? What can I spray that's safe? What can I spray that's safe? That's going to be okay. And guys, there are two things that I want to talk about today. And it really is, these are our go-tos at home. You can even see I've written on the back here. I write on the back so I don't have to open this up. Because organocide for me, because I'm actually highly allergic to a lot of chemicals, like highly allergic. Like me, I have to get driven to hospital and have one of those Jorvas, and I look like Angelina Jolie for a few days. No, not pretty, guys, not pretty. Your dilution rates in here, what I really enjoy about this, and let me just give it to you basically simply. Let me give it to you straight up. You get organocide and you get organocide plus, which is this one here. Okay, plus obviously stronger, all right? Okay, but your dilution is incredible. You're working on 5 mils in 1 liter of water. 5 mils or 100 mils into 10 liters. So it's very cost effective, guys. Very, very cost effective. The thing that I really enjoy about this, and it sounds horrible, it sounds kind of weird. Like, how can you enjoy a chemical? Well, at the end of the day, that caterpillar is chewing up my vegetables, the aphids, the thrips, something on my fruit trees, on the roses. Look, I'm going to do something about it. And so are you. As precious and as tree huggers as we want to be, we are going to do something about it. Come on, be honest. Yes. Okay. So if we're going to do something, let's use something that we know is okay, is safe, and is good. And when I say good, is as safe as you can get for the environment. So what's in this stuff? Very, very simply, it's got canola oil. Canola oil, what does it do? Canola oil smothers soft-bodied insects. Insects that have got wings. It makes the wings stick together so they become immobile, and it stops their reproduction. And it really does deal with a lot of the soft-bodied insects. So it smothers them, and basically they perish. Garlic. Now, when you open this stuff, you'll know it's got garlic. Garlic, guys, we know, our Oma tells us, when you're getting a sore throat, chew some garlic. Crush it. Oh, my word. Eat more garlic. You'll be healthier. You know, they're not talking nonsense. It's true. In fact, the father of medicine, Come on, I'm taking you back now. I don't know, maybe grade, I don't know. I was in standard 2, I think. Louis Pasteur. Dr. Louis Pasteur, and I'm talking 1800s, 1858, 1859, he discovered that garlic has the most amazing properties. Antifungal, it also stops any bacteria from growing and stops diseases in us. So yes, but then, guys, wait, no, sorry, hold on. For plants, no, only in the 1970s was it really, really discovered. Garlic has the ability to create almost like an infusion when you spray it on the plant, almost like a mist, okay? And that smell of the garlic actually repels insects. It repels them. Plus, the other thing is, and it's super, okay, and just hold on. Don't go running around now and think you're going to buy 20 kgs of garlic and crush it and go and spray it on your plants, because here's the thing. There's a compound in a cell called allium, which is where the name allium comes from. It was discovered by this chappie. Anyway, this compound, only when it's put through a specific process of distilling, does it then become allanacea. Allanacea, that compound, allanacea, which is high in sulfur, then has the abilities, which I'm talking about now, which is to chase away the chojos, bactericide, chases away insects. It stops insects from feeding. So it kind of slows them down a bit, even reduces your snail population, nematodes, all those chojos. So that's garlic. The final ingredient in this is pyrethrin. Now don't get confused. There's pyrethroids and pyrethrins. Pyrethrins is extracted from the chrysanthemum plant. Yeah, the chrysanthemum that we get given as a pot plant, the chrysanthemum. When it's harvested and it's broken down and dried, it forms a pyrethrum. Okay. Oid is synthetically manufactured. Pyrethrin or pyrethrum is natural. It's a natural extract from the chrysanthemum plant. It has 6 important molecules, or what we call esters. That has the most amazing ability. So when you spray this over here, when you spray it onto the plant, the pyrethrum actually interferes with the nervous system of the insects, and what we call, flushes them out. So it makes them very agitated and they move around quite a bit and they literally disperse. Does that, affects the central nervous system, so therefore they perish, and it wards off other insects as well. The good thing about all of this is that it has a low toxicity. How can you say that, Tanya? Because pyrethrins or pyrethrums are broken down by UV light. So within 24 to 48 hours, it's not there. It's no longer there. Interesting, hey? So you don't need to worry about what we call residual effect. So Organicide Plus, which is much stronger, it's got almost double the amount of garlic. It's got like 7, 8, 9 times the amount of pyrethrins in it, or pyrethrums, is used for more severe cases. But what is it going to kill? It's going to get rid of whitefly, thrips, aphids, CMR beetle, caterpillars. It's really going to do a huge amount. So Organicide, the normal one day, 24 hours till harvest. This 2 days. That's it. And this is one of the chemicals that is used the most in organic farming principles and methods. So there you go, guys. Really nice, and for me safe, hey? For me safe. There's something else that's come onto the market which is super interesting, and it's called EcoLure. Now, EcoLure, what is EcoLure, guys? It comes like this. You just tear it open, and it's got the most amazing pepperminty smell. And what is it? So insects, like humans, produce something called pheromones. So pheromones are you're attracting, the laws of attraction. Pheromones is like putting on Axe, Old Spice, You are going to lure. You're going to be the love bug, okay? That is what pheromones do. Insects release pheromones to attract other insects. And if you're looking for a mate, you're going to release a lot of pheromones, guys. You're going to be like oozing it. Those are pheromones. So they've managed to lock pheromones into this little sachet. You don't open the sachet. It smells like Stimorol. Mint, Stimorol. Okay. Anyway, you take this little thing over here and you're going to hang it up, okay, near your plants. So you're attracting beneficial insects. They're going to come to this. And you put them 1.5 meters apart in a bit of semi-shade, so under the leaves, okay, and you replace them every 4 weeks. But these are the things that you are going to attract. And this is important because these things that you're going to attract eat other things. Yes. Okay, so the list is long what these guys attract. So I think we've got some pictures up of them. Lacewings, guys. That's a lacewing. You get over 600 different species of them. Lacewings will gobble up aphids, mites, thrips, whitefly, caterpillars, medium. They eat them. They live in the compost. They hatch, they come out, and they're going to gobble. Okay, so they're going to attract the lacewings. They're also going to attract ladybugs. Of course, ladybugs are your serious assassin, aphid eater killer. They will eat the aphids, okay? And they will actually farm the aphids as well, which is amazing. The other thing that they're going to attract is something with a terrible name, which is called syrphids, something terrible like that. Basically, it's the hoverfly. They're those flies that hang above. You'll see them hang. Oh, and those are the monkeys running across the roof. Incredible, really quite amazing. And they will eat the aphids as well, and thrips and spider mites and. And then the other thing that you get is something called orris, which is called, they call it the pirate bug. This guy, he's got like a little hooky thing there, and he like attacks the aphids and sucks all the juices out of them, mites and all those funny things. Really pretty cool. And the final one is actually a spider mite. But now we think, oh, spider mites are bad. But this guy, he eats the other spider mites. He eats the bad ones. That's what he lives on. That's his snack. Breakfast snack. Okay. So when you put the eco lure, basically what you're doing is the pheromones are there. You're going to attract all these good guys, and they are going to protect your plants. So give it a try, guys. It's going to mean you're going to have far healthier plants. You're going to have an environment that's going to take care of itself. So I'm very excited about it. And the more we can, become in harmony with what we have, and our gardening and the methods of gardening that we do, the better, the absolute better. Okay, so when we're talking about autumn now and we're going to be planting, we've got lots to plant, guys, because not only have we got all these wonderful shrubs, but we've also got to look out for the little seedlings, because when you pop into your local garden center, you're going to find an array of beautiful petunias. You're going to find your pansies. You're going to find some poppies, some delphiniums, and all of those are going to give you your winter and your spring color. Likewise, there are going to be bulbs, okay? And bulbs need to get planted within the next month, okay? So you are going to see a huge array. Don't be frightened by them. If you are a bit nervous, guys, just go to our YouTube channel, and we've got an entire video on how to look after bulbs. They really are quite a surprise, and give you weeks and weeks and weeks of joy. But when we're going to be doing all this planting, we need to make sure that we are feeding the soil, getting it right. How do we get these autumn flushes? And today's really been very organic. Yeah, it has been very, very organic, and I'm quite proud of that. So I told you that the rose ladies that make me very frightened, when they find something that works, they stick with it. Guys, this is an organic pelletized fertilizer. You see, it's pellets, and its base is composted chicken manure, but in it has got nitrogen, which is for leaves, your phosphates, which is for roots, not a lot, high amounts of potassium, which is for flowering, potassium. Plus it's got sulfur, calcium, magnesium, bit of molybdenum, bit of zinc, and all of those trace elements make sure that we are going to have good flowers. Now, the South African rosarium uses this. And when we talk about a pelletized, slow-release organic product, geez, that's a mouthful. I mean, come on. Okay, just remember that it's called Atlantic Fruit and Flowers, but it's a pelletized, slow-release organic plant food. And it's great for anything that needs to produce flowers or fruit. So they say on the packet, 60 grams per plant or per square meter. What's that? Let me put you at ease. A handful is 50 grams, generally speaking. A handful, I generally go with 50 to 60 grams is a handful. That's all you need to put around a plant, okay? Sprinkle it around, never too close to the stem, always a bit further. And remember, you don't do it like this. There's my fertilizer. Okay, it needs to be evenly spread, okay? And why do we say that it's a slow release? And it's quite simple, guys. What I did was I took some of this earlier and we put it into some water, because this is what happens. You put it on the surface, and as you water your plants, so it swells. Now imagine this will then dry because the water goes into the soil. And it's still kept its shape. So this will break down over time. And as it breaks down, you can see, I mean, if I take this now and squish it, here we go. It turns into that. But that's going to happen over weeks. So that's why we talk about the slow release, because these little pellets are going to take a long time to break down. And as they are breaking down, so they are then releasing the nutrients into the soil. So it's not like a wham bang. It's not like a chemical, you know, where a chemical fertilizer where you whack it in and then overload, plant. Okay, so it's a slow release. Because it's organic, what are we doing? We know a couple of things, guys. We know that because it's based on organic base of the composted chicken manure, it's going to improve our soil. It's going to improve our microbial activity. It's going to make our soil more nutritious and give it a better soil structure. It's going to hold water better, which means it's actually going to save you money because you won't have to water so much. And because your plants are strong, because it's got all those trace elements, calcium, the magnesium, the zinc, because it's got the trace elements, your plants are going to be stronger. You know, like when you're feeling a bit, you take a vitamin. Oh, you're feeling a bit better. Yes. Okay, because it's got the trace elements, what's going to happen is your plants are going to be more resistant to diseases. Seriously, I'm telling you, they'll be more resistant to diseases. So, how do you apply this? As it says on the bag here, right at the back, all your instructions are on here, guys. Read the instructions, please. Just read the instructions. 60 grams, depending on your area, depending on what you're planting, but for fruit trees, roses, king of swings, flowering plants, every 4 to 6 weeks, and away you go. Okay, so yeah, guys, use it with confidence, as the rose people do, because, very good question. Kayla, is that how I say it? Carla Rana. Oh, that's quite cute. Carla, very, very good question. Tanya, is the Atlantic bio-ocean fertilizer the same? You nailed it, honey. You nailed it. So, this is bio-ocean. Okay. The answer is no. So, I would suggest that what you do is during peak flowering time, you're going to use, so when we're needing this, so in other words, autumn push, spring push, you're going to use the flower and fruit. Think about your fruit trees. Think about your lemon trees. Okay, think about any of your citrus. They peak in winter. That's when they need all their flowers, okay, to produce the fruit. So you're going to use the fruit and flower. This you would use in between because this has got seaweed. It's a seaweed base. In your fruit and flower, potassium has been added. Okay, so it's an added potassium. Potassium is for flowers. So if you want a real punch of flowers, you're going to use the fruit and flowers. This is really good for maintenance. Does that make sense? Because it's got the seaweed, and we know seaweed is amazing for microbial activity. It's got the cytokinins, which all improve cell structure and health of plants. I hope that answers your question. So in between, I would use, and this is what we do with the roses. So we want to punch them, we whack them with fruit and flower. When they're going through a bit of a quieter phase, every 4 to 6 weeks, we then swap out with the Bio-Ocean. But guys, if you want flowers, you whack it with that. And here's your in-between. You can also use Bio-Ocean in your prep for your planting. So in other words, 1 or 2 handfuls in the planting hole. Kayla, I hope that answers your question. Okay. But both of these, slow release, pelletized, organic fertilizer. You got that? Right. Okay. So guys, please, planting, make sure you're feeding, make sure you are doing that regular. And with all the rain, things are being flushed, guys. It's going through the soil. It's in the ocean. So we might need to feed a little bit more. Okay. One thing which is critical in autumn is sowing seed. So let's get to sow and grow in a second. That was a fast transformation. I think I'm still catching my breath. Okay, guys, so seed sowing in autumn, if you've never tried it, this is the time that you do it, because nature bounties with so much that we have available to us for this time of the year. And I'm going to say that to get that beautiful winter and late winter and spring garden, you've got to sow these things now. You have to sow them now. And I know some of you have had some issues, some issues about germination. So we're going to help you along the way. There are different ways that you sow. There's what we call directly, that's in the soil. And that's why I've got this here, because I don't have a garden right here in the studio. So this would be if you were sowing directly. And then you get what they say on the back of the packets. And if you have a look here, it actually tells you, it's amazing when you read the instructions. So if you come in here, it'll say you can sow it in trays or you can sow directly. Now, if it says sow direct, which are these, the most stunning Californian poppies, I would sow direct, guys. Cut out the nonsense. Go straight, okay? Go straight. So that is most certainly one. These, it's the only time of the year that you can actually sow them. Baukbaai fahies. These are the Namaqualand daisies. The Namaqualand little fahies. They are abundant when you drive through the Namaqualand, just on the west coast. You see these tight little beautiful succulents, glistening leaves with these most amazing little popsicle flowers. And these as well, sow in trays or sow direct. I'm taking direct. Okay, I'm going to sow direct. So those, Baukbaai fahies. Guys, Namaqualand daisies, this is the time. An open patch of ground in between some shrubs. You want some beautiful color, then you've got to sow these. And remember, these and these specifically, only time of the year that you can sow them is now. Right now. Okay? And they'll go right through into the winter and even give you a spring show. Isn't that fantastic? And then, of course, there are our pansies. Now, where this says pansies, primulas, violas, this is where I'm going to say sow in trays, guys. They are a bit more challenging. So sow them definitely in trays first. And we've done sowing in trays, guys. So you can go back on our garden tube and you can see the various options. Okay, but what I want to show you today is how I can help you with a few tips of getting more success of sowing directly in the garden. Now, it's really easy. It's very, very easy. I'm going to take these Namaqualand daisies, okay? Namaqualand daisies. Now, let's pretend that this is the garden, okay? There's a garden bed. And here is my soil. So all I want you to do is, and literally guys, you're just going to follow the instructions, but I'm going to make it much easier for you because I'm going to show you. So let's pretend that this is the soil, okay, and you've turned the soil with the garden fork. Yes, because remember, even in the biblical times, it said that no seed will germinate if thrown on rock. Yes, okay, and it makes sense. Like, hello. Okay, so if you've got any big clods, big pieces of soil, I want you to break them up. Just break them up. You're going to use a garden fork, not one of these little things that I'm showing you here. You're going to use a proper garden fork, and you're going to turn that soil so that it's nice and loose and friable. Okay, right, that's what we want. If your soil is poor, and in fact, just use this as a standard. Add compost, okay? Just add compost. Add a good thick layer of compost, turn it in. I'm not going to do that here. Add in some bone meal. If you can, guys, if you have got dogs, rather use some superphosphate, or you can use some root builder as well. So get your soil as level as possible. And this is generally where things start going pear. So I normally take the back end of a rake. See this little, I take the back end and I just do that. And every now and again I can do this. Okay, just to try and get it level. Just like that, okay. Now, this is where the tricks come in. You're going to take a bowl, okay. You're going to empty your seeds. Because, guys, when you read the packet here, hold on. They must be 5 centimeters apart, deep, and 30 centimeters apart. You want me to get these seeds 30 centimeters apart and add your tree? Like, seriously, how's that going to happen? Okay, so this is where things now start going pear, because you're like, 3 hours later, I'm still in the same position. No, come on, guys, come on. There's an easier way. There seriously is an easier gardening hack. And this little packet over here, guys, is going to cover at least 4 square meters, this little packet of seeds. So we throw the seed inside there, right? We're going to take some palm peat. Palm peat, you know palm peat? Remember, it's that block. Where is it? It's this block of goodness, okay, that's been broken down. Add 3 liters of water, 5 liters of water, 3 liters, 5 liters, what is it, 3 liters, 3 liters of water, and you're going to create 9 liters of this from this little block, all right? Holds moisture, which is what we want, because the biggest problem that we have with seed sowing is the lack of moisture. When the seed needs to germinate and grow, and we're at work, and it's a hot day, that's when it fails. So all I'm going to do is take a few handfuls of, got it? Yes? Palm peat, and I'm going to mix it. Now I'm mixing it up. So the likelihood that I'm going to get my seed nice evenly distributed over the soil is much higher than if I was trying to do it seed by seed. I mean, come now, we've got much better things to do than disperse seed by seed. Okay, the next little magic ingredient we're going to add in is this. Guys, this is Hydro Cash. As the name says, cash, it catches water. It's a little polymer, which is a little granule that swells when it gets water. And like a lot, hey? Like seriously a lot. I'm going to take about 6 grams and I'm just going to add it into here just to show you what it does. Where's my water bottle? And what that does is it holds water. And now we've been saying like the biggest issue with germination is the lack of water. So in there, those little polymers then swell and hold the water. So when your seeds need the water, they suck it back. Plus they've got the palm peat, which is light and friable and also holds water. I got it. I'm with you, Tanya. Okay, so now I'm going to take about 6 grams will be more than enough. That's about half of that. And I just sprinkle it dry. Okay, so it's dry on here. Now you can use hydrocash in different ways. You can use it as a sloppy mixture, which is going to be this. Oh my gosh, look at that. Caramba. Look out what it's done already. It's sucked up all that water. So you can imagine this in your hanging basket mixture when you're planting plants that dry shade. Put a bit of the sloppy stuff, pop it into the hole, okay? So now all I do is I mix this. Mix it up. So now I've got the palm peat, I've got my seeds, and I've got my hydrocash, and I've mixed it all in. Now what you do, over your prepared soil, you walk around and you sow. And you sow this. So as I'm doing this now, I'm distributing my seeds and I'm getting an even dispersal. Nice and simple. Easy. You get it. Then you take a bit of normal soil, which is some of the soil that you've been turning around that's got your compost in, and you just cover it. You just cover it. And it'll tell you on the box, it told you on the little packet, needs about 5 centimeters. Okay, so you're going to take that, pour it over. You can even add a bit of palm peat if you want, guys, because it also just helps with the moisture. And you'll notice I'm not doing that, eh? I'm doing this, okay, because I distribute it far easier like this. And then the final thing that I want to do is you either take a little plank or you take your hand and you just firm it down. Because it's that action of firming it down that then says to the seed in its little DNA structure, it's time to grow, baby. It's time to grow. All right, for an extra bit of a kick, remember, after you have sown, is you need to water. And now we've got the palm peat that's holding all of that. We've got our hydrocash that is going to swell. And you're going to need to water this every day until germination takes place. Soon as germination has taken place, you can then start cutting back on water. But guys, this is budget gardening for absolute beauty. And every year we sow Namaqualand daisies, Californian poppies, Shirley poppies, primulas, and of course the book by Fahey's. So folks, there you have it. Get into the garden and make sure that you are getting the abundance that autumn has to offer. And if you want even more info on seed sowing, guys, in our latest issue of The Gardener and Detainee, which has the most amazing, incredible, gorgeous jade vine, you want to learn more about it? Check inside the magazine. But if you really want to learn more about seed sowing, guys, there is a step-by-step by yours truly, all my seed sowing advice that I can share with you in a good few pages, plus a great article by landscaper Greg Dowsett on how to deal with narrow passages, garden mums, what are those? You have to buy the mag to take a look at them, and of course more on tropical plants, which I know a lot of you are always looking for. So it's all in there in our latest issue of The Gardener and Detainee. Guys, remember, if you're wanting to learn more, or I kind of rushed through a few things, just check out our channel, our YouTube channel called Garden Tube, and you can see a whole lot of topics there that we've covered. If you're wanting more specific things on what I might have rushed through today. A huge thank you to our supporters today, to Stark Airs, to Macro Home and Garden, and Atlantic Fertilizers. Guys, you rock. We love using your products because they're safe, they're good for me and my fur kids, keep the ho-hos away, and they improve my garden safely. And that's the thing. Right, all that's left for me to say to you is look after you and yours. And till next time, take care and happy gardening.
The Gardener Masterclass was proudly brought to you by Stark Airs, the foremost African commercial and home gardening specialists of globally sold premium seed and innovative gardening solutions, growing together for a sustainable future. And the Gardener and Detainee magazines. Get access to the greatest gardening minds, latest gardening trends, inspirational ideas and tips.
If gardening is your passion, digging in the soil is your pleasure, and growing your own food is your mission, we've got a lot in common. Get access to the greatest gardening minds, including yours truly, with The Gardener magazine, filled with the latest gardening trends, inspirational ideas and tips. Available from leading retailers or online at thegardener.co.za. From cover to cover, it's gardening at its best.